Hello, welcome back, and today what we're going to cover is how to make a chainmail dice bag. Super cool, and well, it's easy. And you can also buy a kit on FoamArmory.com, but we'll cover that in a little bit. How about we take a look at a screen capture, and we'll start here. So the idea for this bag, I put my foam mail up for sale recently, or Steph and I put our foam mail up for sale recently, and Chris from Canvas and CHROMA sent a thing going, hey, I'm taking your stuff and making dice bags. And I was like, oh my god, that is so cool. So I got a hold of him, and I said, hey, do you mind if I show people how to make my version of the dice bag? But I'm going to make sure that for those that don't want to build a dice bag, just want to get a dice bag, I want you to, one, follow Canvas and CHROMA on Instagram. The other thing I want you to do is go to Canvas and CHROMA on Etsy. And if you scroll down, you'll notice, look at that. Dice tower bag that you can buy. And it is, you know, let's support other makers. This is awesome. The other thing I want to deal with is just recently SKS Props, Steve, put out free plans on how to make a dice tower out of his foam. It will work with any foam. I recommend that you go and look up DIY EVA HD foam dice tower with free templates. And the free templates you can get at SKS Props. All right, let's go back to this. When you get your kit, you will get 2 of these sheets. I'm just going to have one here, and you will be getting 2 of these bottom panels. Now this one is not as neat as what we will be giving you. The ones we will be giving you will be laser cut. To go through and clean all this stuff, what I found is that you get a needle poker, or I've got like little tweezers, and you can just come in and start flicking out these little pieces one by one. Essentially, you just come and you break these guys out of here. But you pull these guys out and you end up having a strip like this. You can also flex this and just do it by hand and pop all these out. We also have, and I will be doing a printable, is this guy here. And what I've been doing here for the bottom base is cutting this guy out. So let's just find a spot here that we can cut one of these out. This guy here does not need to be perfect because all the raw edges are going to get tucked inside of the bag when it's done. There we go. So the way I've been marking where all of these holes are is I just take a pen and I make a little hole or a little point mark in each of these. What I have done is I've gotten some hobby aluminum tubing from the hobby store. You can use copper tubing, but I use aluminum, and the reason why I use aluminum is I cut off a little piece and I chuck it into the drill. And then this edge here I want to be sharp. Aluminum can be cut quite easily with your hobby knife. So you can create a nice edge that you can make a cutting edge with by just doing this. Is you come in and you put your knife up against that. So now I've got a nice cutting edge. And what you can do is you can just place that on top with your drill instead of by hand, go and instantly have a little hole. Get a number 5 or a number 6 crochet needle. First thing that we're gonna do is we're just gonna pick whichever random hole and we're gonna pull one of these loops through, just like that. And we're gonna continue on around the outside. Those that don't have a crochet needle and are thinking, well, I don't wanna buy a crochet needle, you don't have to. So you can do this by hand, and it's pretty simple, is that you take each loop and you pinch it so that it basically folds in half. And you'll find that it fits through each hole quite nicely. The chainmail's kind of got 2 sides. If you look at this side, it looks like chainmail, but if you flip it over, the other side looks really cool, but does not look like chainmail. So it definitely has a good side and a bad side, depending on what you're doing. Maybe you want to have this side for whatever costume. And we are going to be coming out with different chainmail patterns. We're going to come out with different chainmail shapes. We're going to come out with scale mail and a whole bunch of other things. But The reason why I'm showing you this is that we're going to be knitting this guy inside out. If you do it inside out, the way it bends is it wants to bend out like this, but because it's in a circle, it gets pulled in, so it keeps it shaped nicely, and you can just keep on weaving. And the way this works is that if you put the needle in and you come out here, that direction, this face, if I'm looking straight down the needle like that, is the good face. This will be the back face. And the reason why you need to know that is that we're going to take this and we're not going to cut this strand. So we're going to pull it in here, and we are going to come in and we're going to grab that, and we're going to make this little kind of overlap loop. Now you could break this strand and cut that little edge off, but it really isn't necessary, seeing as it's going to be tucked on the inside anyways. And then from there, we just carry on crocheting. You take the next strand that you want to do or use, and you put it through the exact same hoop that this one was in. Now you can make it a little stronger by going back 2 loops, but just go back 1 will be fine for your dice bag. So now you have 2 coming through there, and continue looping it through. And when we come around all the way around in this spiral, we're going to come back to this guy. Now we have a choice. One is that we can hook both of these at the same time, or I can hook just the outside one, and this will stay on the inside and be this little flappy thing. So how do I reinforce this, and how do others reinforce this? There's a couple ways that I've done. One is that this is the back side, and if you take spray glue, I'd like to use Super 77. So I spray glue this, and I also spray glue some of this really thin material, taffeta or a tulle, and then I stick it to that. That gives it a backing piece that keeps it super strong, and it also gives you something that you can sew to. Another method is to get tacky glue. Is that super flexible. It's rubbery when it's dry. So what you do is you water it down and you paint it onto the foam maille, and it ends up sort of sticking all the pieces together a little tighter. For dice bags, there's not a whole lot of violence or stretching that happens with these, so I'm pretty sure just a raw dice bag would be fine. I kind of like the way it sits and it looks on its own, a little rough, but some people might want it to be like super neat. So take a heat gun. It's just a little hobby heat gun. Is you can get in there and heat that piece up, not too much, and it'll make the foam pliable, and then you can bend these down to where you want them to be. Give it a second or two, and then it will retain its shape. So you can start heat forming this. And the last little bit is super simple. Is we've got, and if you want to do something different, I totally want to see what people do for the closure. But all we're doing is we got another piece of EVA foam, just a little strip. And just do a zigzag stitch through the top edge. Okay, so we come through here and then to the last one like this. So now we have 2 open edges for the dice bag. And throw all your dice in there. There you go. How to make a chainmail dice bag. Super easy. It's a lot of fun. Be the envy of everybody at your gaming table. If you want one of these, you can find them at FoamArmory.com under our products page or store page. And they are $7. It's really not a big deal. So, go grab yourself one of them. As always, we will have the plans for free. It's pretty simple. The plans for the chainmail are already out there on Thingiverse, and then a little octagonal piece on the very bottom for the base. But you can always find that. Links to all the stuff is down below. Make sure you hit subscribe and like and all that other kind of stuff. Make sure to leave comments below, and I'll be talking with you guys shortly.